That's hard.
Thank you, Allison.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching the Tour de France, and the person that had the sign that knocked over all of the cyclists.
Crazy.
It's that it made me feel like it was a Southwest commercial. It's like, want to get away.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine, I mean, just like with golf, they have like, you have to stay as spectators, you need to be a little bit, away from the actual action. I would imagine for a bike race, that would be the case.
With the tour though, like they're right up on them, right?
Yeah. Well, the lady hit the guy, I don't know. I think the bike rider hit the sign, the back of the sign. She wasn't intending, she was holding the sign for some other cyclist, and it caused a whole domino effect.
Looked like LA traffic. It was bad news, but it 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Good morning, everybody. We have a jam-packed schedule today, so I want to get it kicked off right at the top of the hour, as folks I know are still going to be hopping on, moving in from other meetings. But to kick it off, I want to send it over to Mary Smith for a little bit of motivation on this beautiful Monday.
Thank you, Bobby. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing? I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about my husband, but a couple months ago, my husband got a shed. And our son built it for him, and that became his little 8x4 foot shed. And now that shed has morphed into a shop. And I have to tell you, my husband right now is at the intersection of happiness and joy and serenity and acceptance. It's kind of a wonderful, weird thing, but it's really inspiring for me to see how much joy he's getting from this little space, this little thing that he does, and it's kind of all him. So what is bringing you joy and happiness today? When you get out of bed, do you kind of slowly move, testing each body part to see if it's still alive? Or do you have a little bit of spring in your step as you get out of bed? What would make that transition for you? Because I think in order for us to continue to do the work that we do, we have to find some joy and happiness every single day. Last week, I want to thank Best Friends for bringing us a kick-ass conference. And especially, I want to thank them for making it possible for us to hear that amazing woman, Dr. Jane Goodall. Now, if you need a source for happiness, don't look any farther than Dr. Jane, because she is all about hope. And hope is that thing where we can really, that's sort of the key that unlocks the happiness and the joy. Because when we have hope, we can pretty much do anything, because we're always envisioning something better for the animals in our care, for the people that we're connected to, for the work that we do, for our colleagues. All of it fits together. So if you want to find some joy this week, I do have a little factoid I want to share with you. We hear a lot on these calls about the Rio Grande Valley. And I have to tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I read an article, and the vaccination rates in the Rio Grande Valley rival the highest of anywhere in the country. Hidalgo County, Starr County, Cameron County, and I don't remember what the fourth county is. My apologies to people in South Texas for my geographic ignorance, but they have vaccination rates that are close to 70%. Now, we don't often find good things to say about that part of the country, but Shelley and I, our last trip that we were able to have before COVID really changed the world that we know, was actually to that region. We met so many incredible people doing such incredible work that it was an honor and a privilege for us to sort of have that marked as the last trip that we took. And we're excited to figure out ways of making that happen again. So I don't care where you're working. I don't care what your facility looks like. I don't care about any of that shit. What I really care about is the fact that every day you guys give a shit and you show up. And for that, I am so grateful. So if you want to get inspired in July, the ASPCA Cornell Shelter Medicine Conference is July 9th to the 11th. It starts that night with a great presentation by our favorite Germs and Worms Canadian. Thank you, Kathy Duncan, Scott Weiss. And then it's all day Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday morning, Maddie's Fund is going to make a really important announcement, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to show up. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. I appreciate it. You're really waking me up today. I want to Marie Kondo this for a minute. We have like 2 minutes. What sparks joy in all of you? Like, use the chat, unmute. What got you up today? What gets you excited? I'm going to mute and we're going to take 2 minutes. I want to hear from at least 2 or 3 people. Come on, folks.
All right, I'll go. So this is gonna be silly, but my 10-foot inflatable pool is what's keeping me happy right now. Getting to go home after these hot, humid days and soaking in there. So it's the little things in life.
Thank you, Andrea. So you're that first person dancing, you know, and now there's going to be another one, and then there's hopefully going to be a party. So who's next?
Go on, I'll jump in. I think for me, Bobby Mann giving us the opportunity to really speak on the topic of separation anxiety, because it's something that I and Milena are truly passionate about. So I appreciate you giving us this opportunity. So really excited for this call. And thank you, Mary, for the great opening message.
Awesome. Well, I see the chat lighting up, but I would like to have one more person unmute and tell us what brings them joy.
Okay, it's Kathy from Canada. And this, you guys bring me the most joy. Monday and Friday, I couldn't get through the week anymore without everybody that I talk to every week. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy from Canada. I'll tell you something that sparks joy for me is helping shelters raise money to save more lives. It makes me so happy when people have the fuel they need to do the work that they love to do. So we're going to open it up for national updates, but we have an amazing national update from Elena Battles, a director of Shelter Love, to showcase the new fundraising tool that they've just launched.
Thank you, Bobby. Bobby, I can see you. Can you hear me? I want to make sure one person can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Thanks so much. Thank you. And a logistics question, do I share my slides or do you do it on your end?
You share yours.
Thank you. I'm going to do that now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having me and for being patient while I do this. All right. No, that's not it. All right. My team members right now are going, Elena, get it together. Why can't you figure it out faster?
No,
so thanks for being patient.
This is perfect. You're slowing us down to the right pace.
Oh my gosh, here we go. I need to just
digest all this.
All right, I'm going to leave it like this. And you can see how I have, this is one thing that doesn't spark me joy is that I did not spark any joy. I didn't clean up my tabs before y'all are seeing this since it's not in presentation mode, but I know it's a forgiving audience. So donation feature updates from Shelter Love. We really want to get these out because as many of you know, in 2017, mobile checkout launched at Shelter Love, and we were able to take that adoption process paperless for folks, which was great for many reasons, really helped to raise donations and raised $4.3 million directly for shelters during that time, which is really exciting. But then, of course, last year became a necessity, and we're so glad it was there because paperless, no touch, no contact, remote checkout all of a sudden became the norm. And so we're always trying to find ways to increase these capabilities for our customers. It's been particularly critical, of course, during shelter in place, but then this year as well, where I know so many of you are challenged with space, of course, and not only space, but just having fewer staff than you did a year or 2 years ago. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to make sure everyone within the sound of my voice who's using Shelter Love is using these features. First one, donation button prominently now featured on every adoptable animal profile. And you see it right here. This would be in the animal bio. When now, not only can your your adopters make a donation when they check out, but also a web visitor now who gets inspired by those amazing bios that you write or the terrific pictures that you're taking or that your volunteers are taking. They can donate right there on the animal profile. And what's great about this is yes, it's on the animal profile. It doesn't show up as a restricted fund. It's a general donation. You can use that for whatever you need within your shelter. And then it's also integrated into Shelter Love. So now in your monthly reporting, that donation, that person's contact information, it's already in your system. You don't need to do something outside your system to open up donations for your visitors. This is also in our very simple iframe. It doesn't require iframe being see, now I'm such a tech person, even though I come from shelters, I just use iframe like everyone knows what I'm talking about. Iframes are a little snippet of code that can be placed in your website that then allows you to show your animals with these beautiful bios, filters for people to search through animals, everything you need without having to have a web designer. We know not everyone has access to that. And so just getting this donate button just requires a little refresh of that code. And so any customer, if you're not using this yet, you just email us at help@shelterlove.com and we can walk you through how to get that set up. So that's one of our features. The second one is giving the adopters the option to cover your fees at checkout. So any of you who were at the association or attended the association's web fundraiser, digital fundraising series earlier this year, you'll recognize this because it was mentioned as one of those features that's a must, a best practice right now in digital fundraising. We've seen this success with this. It's been launched we've had about 6 weeks and customers are raising a lot more money as a result of it. So pre-COVID, as Kristen says, PC, I think she calls it, pre-COVID, we saw adopters choosing to make a donation through the checkout about 30% of the time, 28 to 30%, depending on the time of year. When shelter in place became the norm for you last year, we tested some new language in that donation ask that was specifically referenced COVID and the types of activities you were doing during the shelter in place for your community and for your animals. And that boosted that percentage to about 37, what you see here. So that was the baseline that we're working with. When we launched this option for adopters to cover fees, it shot through the roofs and has stayed at 77%. So 77% of people who adopt from Shelter Love customers on average are choosing to make a donation to cover those fees or just a donation. So the way that we did that, for those of you who are familiar with the flow, is that we ask for that donation, a general ask, $25 covers X, $50 covers Y. And then on the next screen, give folks the chance to also cover fees. And what we're seeing is people are feeling generous and they're boosting that donation by another $2 to $5, whatever their fees are. We're really excited about this. It's allowed 82% of customers using checkout to cover all fees. So Shelter Love becomes free, which really excites us. We want to get these tools into your hands. And because of that, for the rest of 2021, we're guaranteeing that Shelter Love will be free when you use these when you use the checkout feature. So if you're a customer and you're not using any one of these that you just saw, stop listening to me right now. Email Mandy Nealand, who's our customer success lead. Many of you probably recognize Mandy. She worked with Best Friends, and before that was the executive director at Carver Scott Humane. We're very grateful that she's now at Shelter Love, and she knows all the ways that you can be successful and implement these tools very easily at your shelter. And if you know of a shelter that needs help and would be new to Shelter Love, we're putting our money where our mouth is there too. We're guaranteeing in 2021 that they'll cover their fees. If they don't, for some reason, we would reimburse. So we hope that helps to ease some of the burden that you're going through right now, and are excited to be able to do it, excited about the results. People are generous, they want to give, and we just want to give them as many opportunities as possible to do that. The last thing I'll do, and stop sharing this, is make a quick request. So as I look forward, I would love to hear from anyone. You can email me, I'll put my email in the chat after this. If you've been particularly successful at taking your adopters that donate in whatever way that you do, Shelter Love or not, and getting them to start making monthly donations, I would love to hear those best practices, because what we hear typically is that's a tough transition to make in that category of donor. So I want to hear from the folks that are doing it well, because we always love to look at best practice and see how we can put it into technology. And I see Sarah put my email in there as well. So I'd love to hear from you. Thanks, Bobby. And thanks for having me.
Of course, I love it. There is a question in the chat. I'd hope that you can answer in the chat for Maggie.
Sure.
But two things, right? When do we tip the most? When we're drinking wine or adopting whiskers? So when people's endorphins are up, make sure you have that donate button. And then another self-health practicing, Elena, I looked at all your tabs. That's too much work, not enough retail therapy. You need to like shop a little more online, okay?
It's very embarrassing that you all are seeing that right now, but I'm just going with it.
Well, we appreciate you being here so much. And now we have about 5 minutes. We'd love to open up the floor for other national updates.
Hi, Bobby and everyone. I wanted to thank everyone for making referrals. We have some winners and I wanted to announce them. I would have to say of all the new folks that came, Monday rocked. Monday did a lot of referrals. So I'm going to just call out, wait, where are you? Audrey Williams, Elizabeth Lafferty, Sophia Soniki, Linda Leal, Jonathan Witzman, Christy Alford, Karen Fugate, Leona Cleveland, and Marta Casey. You and your referrals are getting a gift card. Thank you all.
Thanks, Sharon.
Hey, Bobby, I've got something. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. Several members of our Lost and Found working group are focusing on Lost and Found on a much more global level. Lost Dogs of America is offering a, there it is, offering a webinar tonight. The information's in the chat on how do we help people, rescues, adopters, et cetera, that lose a dog, transfer partners, lose a dog subsequent to pulling them or adopting them or et cetera. It happens, and there are certain strategies and techniques that are useful and others that are not. So we welcome everyone to join this webinar tonight. It's a live webinar. The Zoom link's in the chat. And I think it's a little different than what I talk about from an RTO perspective. It's true tactics on how to catch a very frightened animal. So there you have it. Thanks, Bobby.
Look at that, GK. You have abstract, time, title, and link. Allison would be very proud of you right now.
Got it.
Hey guys, good morning.
everybody.
Sorry, it's Bethany from Best Friends. I'll be super fast. We are having our national adoption event July 9th through the 11th. It's called Let Love In. We've got lots of great incentives for this event, both registration, adoption awards, etc. You do have to be a network partner. No worries if you're not, we can get you signed up to be a network partner. I will pop the registration link into the chat. Thanks. And sorry to whoever started talking, we were talking at the same time.
Thank you, Bethany.
It's Kathy from Canada, and Bethany, that's fine. Canadians are notoriously apologetic and self-effacing. So unfortunately, we can't be network partners, though. Just wanted to let everybody know that Humane Canada has another mini event coming August 25th. The registration's not open as yet, but keep your eye on the information I'll post in the chat. It is the impacts of climate change on animal welfare. So keep an eye on things because we'll be taking registration soon, and it promises to be another great event. Thank you.
If you have missed in-person conferences, the 2021 Midwest Animal Sheltering Conference is going to be in person. This is September 10th through 12th in Columbia, Missouri, which is about smack dab between Kansas City and St. Louis. I'll be speaking along with a great list of speakers. There's going to be announced here in hopefully this week. So really looking forward to seeing people in person. I'm very excited.
All right, thanks everyone. Kevin, I saw your message about the Royals not winning. So I'm in San Francisco. So if you want to come watch a winning team coming out with the Giants, just saying, best team in the MLB.
Yeah, I don't know if they're the best team, but they're looking pretty darn good. So, and I think I'm still salty about losing the World Series to them a few years back. So I don't know.
It's all good. We're building community here at least. All right.
Perfect.
So I am super, super, super excited about our next special guest. This is something else that brings me joy, is when I think about what our field industry will look like 10 or 20 years from now, and who are going to be the next heroes of animal welfare, just like all of you are on this call. So I'm going to play a video from a very special guest, and then we're going to get to do a very exciting interview. So I'm going to share my screen in just 1 second. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it once it starts. Oh.
Doing Lucas Urick today.
Hi.
How old are you, Lucas?
I'm 11 years old.
I hear that you like kitties. What's your favorite thing about cats?
They're cats. Why wouldn't people love them?
I heard that you're known around town as the microchip man. How did that happen?
Joy gave me a chip scanner thingy. Stuff happened and then this cat got lost. Went to go chip it to see if it was chipped. And then there was one that had been lost for over 6 months. And then we reunited it with its owners.
Do you take your chip scanner around and scan every cat that you meet?
Yeah.
Last month you helped organize a microchip clinic. Do you know how many cats that you helped microchip that week?
I think it was like 40.
40, that's awesome. It's a lot of cats that got chipped.
One family had 7 cats, and I got to push 2 of them into the stroller.
How important is it to microchip, do you think?
Very important.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell your audience?
Microchip your cats. It's really important.
All right, I gotta figure out how to turn this sound off. Folks, I want to introduce you to the amazing microchip man, Lucas, and his mom, Sarah. Let's give them a round of applause. Hey, Sarah, you can go ahead and unmute your mic. And Lucas, how are you today?
Good.
We're so excited.
Good.
We're so excited that you're hanging out with us. Your mom was telling me that you have your own pet cats and you also know all the names of the cats in your neighborhood. Do you want us to tell us a little about them?
So we have Kylo, this little kitten. He's about 6 months old.
I think he's almost a year.
Almost a year old. He's a little tuxedo cat. And then there's Yoda right here, who is like a gray tabby, I guess. She's like almost 13. And then we have Vader, this black cat that we like to call the Trunk Trunk.
I love it. Lucas, do you remember the day that you really fell in love with cats?
I think it was in like first grade, someday in first grade, because I had like just gotten to my school, and then Kyle and Caden, some of my best friends, were in the first grade. And I asked them if they liked cats because I was like just getting to know about cats, and then they said, yeah, we love cats. So then we just started this little group.
So you have a cat posse at school, huh?
Yeah.
That is amazing. And so when you wanted to help cats and you met Joy from Field Haven, how did that conversation go? What did the two of you talk about?
I don't really remember.
I think it was our conversation. I just asked, I think it was spring break and I wanted to keep him busy. And I said, is there anything he can do? Because he loves cats. Anything he can do to volunteer and help. And then Joy's really good with coming up with all these wonderful ideas for stuff like this. So she's like, we should do a microchip your cat week. And it just started from there. We did I think it was a whole week. And they did 40 cats. and then hopefully he'll, you know, go from there and start doing some more things as he gets a little bit older.
We love it. There is a question from Gina in the chat for Lucas. Lucas, what do you want to be when you grow up? Is he going to go find one of his other cat friends right now?
Yes.
No worries. So Sarah, I'll ask you a question while we have Lucas coming back. So what does this mean for you as a parent that your child is interested in animal welfare, and what are your hopes of this new love that he has?
I am just thrilled that he loves animals, especially cats. He's just so kind-hearted. He's so, you know, there's a cat across the street that, you know, it's been really hot, and he'll bring him water, and he'll talk to the owner and say, you know, does he go inside because it's really hot? And he just makes sure everybody's taken care of. So I'm just really proud. He has such a kind heart, and anybody that loves cats is a wonderful person. So I'm just thrilled. And I'm hoping that, you know, this will be something that will continue, and he can, you know, kind of grow into different roles as he gets a little bit older. So I'm just thrilled.
Well, he's definitely a part of this community, the youngest member, which is exciting, and I'm sure he'll recruit the rest of his posse. Is he out scanning cats, as Peter Wolf said, or is he going to be coming back in a sec?
Lucas, hurry. He went upstairs. I think he wanted to show off Kylo, which is a little kitty we have, but oh, this is Vader, the chunk chunk.
We would love to see Vader.
So hurry. They're all waiting for you.
And as we're waiting for Lucas, I would love all of you to just put some words of encouragement for him in the chat that his mom can save and hopefully print and show him later. Lucas, who is this?
This is Vader.
See, here's Vader.
Amazing. Lucas, I have one last question for you, and I hope that you can hang out because Joy is going to be speaking right after you about the work they're doing at Field Haven. But you have 130 people on this call with you that all also love cats. Is there anything that you want to tell other people that are helping save animals right now?
If you have any cats that need to be adopted, just tell us.
Well said.
Okay,
or foster.
That would be very interesting because we would have to get like a lot more houses probably.
Yeah.
Well, Lucas, I actually live right up the street from you out in the Sacramento area. I know you're in Lincoln, so hopefully sometime we can both hang out and go scan some cats together. How about that?
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, Sarah, thank you so much. As you can see, Mom of the Year in the chat. There's going to be lots of words of encouragement for him as well that we hope that you can carry on, put on his wall. And Lucas, keep coming back and hanging out with us, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. All right, I'm going to move over to Joy Smith, the Executive Director of Field Haven, to talk about some of the amazing programs that they're doing at their organization.
I saw it. I was
And
reading
then
them.
Sarah, you can just mute your mic for us, please. Over to you, Joy. There you go.
How am I going to follow that?
Well, he's on your team, so it's all good.
That's
that
true,
was your
that's
intro.
true. Okay, let me try the PowerPoint thing here. And hold on a second. There it is. Okay, are you all seeing it? Now here comes the
Yes.
slideshow. And from beginning. Okay, are you all seeing? Okay, is that going now? You can see that?
Yes.
And you can all hear me?
We can also see your next slide though. So I don't know if.
That's weird. Okay. You know what? I'm going to just go back to this way. I think sometimes that just works better.
It's your show, Joy. You run it the way you want.
So like I said, how am I going to follow that? So thank you, Lucas. And what is so amazing about what Lucas and Sarah are doing? I mean, everything that he's doing, but they've become known in our community. So when somebody finds an animal, they tag Sarah, and Sarah and Lucas jump in the car and or walk and go and scan that animal. So that dog or that cat. And Lucas has definitely had some success in getting some cats back to their owners. And, you know, it was just one, Sarah came to me, she goes, how do, you know, is there anything I can do with my 11-year-old boy that wants to volunteer to help cats? And I said, what does he like to do? And she said, he likes to walk around the neighborhood, petting all the cats and getting to know them. And just some light bulb went off, and I gave him a scanner and some little found home animals, their microchip cards, and that was it. There, and so now Lucas is the microchip man about town. So that's how that all started. So speaking of that, let me talk to you about how Field Haven started. It started very simply. In 2003, I was TNRing a colony of cats, and then 18 years later, here I am, and here we are. And I just say, be careful what you wish for, because you just never know when those dreams are going to come true. So who is Field Haven? Where are we? What are we? We're in Lincoln, California, which is near Sacramento. It's east of Sacramento in the foothills in Placer County. We have the main facility is on my horse ranch. My husband and I have a horse ranch, and the main facility, which started in a trailer, a single wide trailer, which is now a big facility. That's on our ranch. And then we have a building that we purchased a couple of years ago in downtown Lincoln. That's primarily our thrift store, but we also use it as a community center to do adoptions. We have a cafe there and vaccine and microchip clinics. And then last year, we opened a satellite center in Marysville in Yuba County, where we're doing quite a bit of work, which I'll talk about in a minute. And that's been mainly a resource center where we're not sheltering. We are just there for, we provide resources. It's a place where people can come in and rent traps, learn about TNR, learn about anything. Yesterday we had a vaccine and microchip clinic there. We are cats only, but we do some things with dogs, mainly vaccine and microchips. So we do allow dogs to come play with us once in a while. We're a private nonprofit, although we do have some municipal partners, but all of our funding comes from fundraising and donations and grants. A big question I get a lot of, because if you look at our logo, it's a cat and a horse. And so people say, do we do horses? Do you rescue horses? No, we don't. That logo came about because when our property was named Field Haven, and we had established that logo. So when I suddenly decided we were going to be a cat rescue, then it became Field Haven Feline Rescue, and then subsequently Field Haven Feline Center. So at that point, our logo and branding has become quite well known around the area. So we just haven't changed it out. And it's just good. It's just a good conversation piece. So so these are our sort of my words, or our words that we work by. Our mission is that we're empowering communities and to ensure every cat has a safe place to live, whether that safe place is in the bushes in a park or in your house. So we can't do it all alone. So what we are doing is, what we like to do is to give things for people to do to help in the community and learn how to empowering them to help the cats in the community, just like we've done with Lucas and Sarah. And our tagline, which we kind of operate by every day, is for every cat in need, a solution. So I always think, when somebody comes up with a really challenging problem, I look at it, one step at a time, and my team looks at it a little bit at a time. We always find there's got to be some solution. So we always try to find that solution no matter what it is, and then learn from that and build on that. My own personal mottos are, we don't want your damn cat in our shelter. We want to find a way to keep that cat out of the shelter. And in fact, we are now a Field Haven Feline Center. I try and call the main building the cat house rather than the shelter, because we want cats to not have to come to the shelter. So whatever we can do, whatever programs we can provide in our community, and however we can help people to stay out of keep cats out of the shelter, that's what we want to do. Never say never, because every time I say never, then something happens and I have to or something will come up, and rules can be broken. So we come up with policies and procedures, and every time then, there's always that gray area. So I always say the rules can be broken. So what's changed since COVID? We all have had a lot of, the last year has been really challenging for all of us and us as well. We had to lay off. We had about 17 staff members, and we had to lay off pretty much all but about 5 to start with, and then some came back. But it also gave us a really great opportunity to rebuild our programs and rebuild who we are and what we want to do. And so what's really changed is that we're helping, rather than intaking, so going along with that philosophy of keeping cats out of the shelter, we help people rehome. And so it's not like we don't take any cats in, but first we try and exhaust all solutions to not take them in. So we're helping people rehome their cats when needed. We've expanded our spay neuter clinic. We were doing, had a very small spay neuter clinic. It was mainly our own cats and one other, maybe about 15, 20 other cats a day. Now we're doing 3 days a week. And I think it's the clinic is growing more and more. So we're using that space for community cat rooms where all of our adoptable cats were at. We're using that for the clinic now because they have doors to the outside. They have catios on them that has an outside door that used to remain locked. Well, no, those are the doors that customers come in with their cats and traps or carriers for the clinic. So we sort of repurposed our adoption area and using that for the clinic. So our geographic area is pretty wide. We're in Placer County, and we've been, that's where our focus has been for years and years. But just north of us is Yuba County, and we sit right in here. So we're right on the edge of Yuba County, and Yuba County has some great needs for help. So we stepped into Yuba County in 2018. And started working up there. So where you see the little red push pins, those are areas where we're really prominent. So now Placer and Yuba counties are our focus areas. And we have the resource center is in Yuba County. But depending on situations, we will work projects, small or large, that are in other counties. So we're working in Glenn and Colusa County now with a single rescuer up there that's been working for years. So we're helping there. We have some projects up in Butte County. We're working with the Gridley Animal Services on some projects there. And up in Shasta County, which is quite a hike away, but this was a really unique situation of about 200 feral cats on government land up there in the National Forest that needed to be, something needed to be done with them. So we're working that colony. It was not an option for TNR, unfortunately, even though we looked at that as an option, but we're working with trapping those cats and relocating them. A lot of them are cats that are tame and adoptable. So we're doing that over time. We have a 6-month project plan to work that colony and working in conjunction with National Forest Service and law enforcement officers up there. So we do have a pretty large reach of area, but we're really try to keep it so it's manageable, because as you know, it's very easy to go out of, take on projects that you really can't, that are way out of your area or your scope. So we really try and make sure that we are able to work within the boundaries of our capabilities. And that's not easy. That's actually really pretty hard. So we have
Joy, really quick, just per your request, you wanted me to give you a halftime time check-in. There's 7 minutes left.
Okay, good. I think I'm right on target. Good. Thank you. Because like I said, Bobby, I can rattle on. So here are some of our programs that we have. There are key programs. We have our community assistance team, which is a help desk. And I'm really proud of this program because we have a team of volunteers and staff that answer phone calls, emails, social media inquiries about anything and everything to do with cats. And we really pride ourselves in getting back to people very quickly, as soon as we can, usually within 24 hours of the request, and helping them through whatever issues they have. Of course, always, focusing on trying to come up with a solution that keeps animals out of the shelter. And we often hear from people that, you know, everybody gets so overwhelmed, and I know shelters and rescues are really overwhelmed, but we try and call everybody back, just even if we can give them an ear to listen to. And we have heard so many times that people just appreciate that. Even if we don't come up with, you know, the answer they were looking for, we give them, they know somebody is listening to them, and they know that they have an ear, and that sometimes makes all the difference in the world. Our FAST team, which is our Field Haven Animal Shelter team, it used to be called, we did have last year, it was Field Haven Animal Rescue Team. I'll let you do the acronym for that. And so we had to change that because it was a little, you know, every time you said the name of it in an acronym, it we kind of giggled a little bit. So it's this is our disaster aid and sheltering team. We are contracted with Yuba County, or have an MOU with Yuba County OES, Office of Emergency Services, and they we do their disaster sheltering for them, for cats and pocket pets and even reptiles sometimes. Bucks Barn and Second Chance Ranch. This is a really unique program that we have here at Field Haven, where Bucks Barn is an area where trappers and people that are trapping colonies, if they can bring their cats in when they trap them. And so, for example, if they trap on a Sunday, but their spay neuter isn't until Tuesday or Wednesday, they can house the cats there. Or if they need a little extra time for recovery to go back out to the field. So that's a real help to a lot of trappers, because especially this time of year that they may recover cats, or they may hold them in their garage. With the heat, they can't really do that. So we offer Bucks Barn as sort of a holding area or boarding facility, if you will, for trappers. Our TNR squad are just our team of that we do everything with TNR. We do colony management, we train people, we support people from everything from showing them how to do it to providing food and even veterinary support. Meow Forever is our where we assist with rehoming, and Kitten Sitters is our pre-foster triage. So when somebody finds a kitten within the area, they, you know, in their area, they just let us know, and then we help them triage them. So the real shining star of what we've done the last few years is a partnership with the city of Marysville. They have, it's a population of about 12,000. They had previously contracted animal services to the county, and they were known for feral cats. I mean, this city had feral cats everywhere, and all they were doing was trapping and killing. So in June of 2018, we entered into an agreement with them to basically TNR the town. And we also do kitten fosters, and we do vaccine and microchip clinics up there. So we have been at it since 2018. And since then, we have, through May, we have TNR'd, or, well, spayed and neutered, some are own cats, but most of them are TNRs, about 1,200 cats. And we have done about 750 intakes that are mostly kittens. So we've really been successful. The community appreciates it so much. The difference in the police department, for which animal services is under, they have saved money in their animal services because of doing what we're doing with the TNR up there. And this is a really good opportunity. I always like to point this out, why this area is such a great opportunity for a project like this, because Marysville, this is the city of Marysville. These are two levees right here. So the city is surrounded by water, and this is farmland back here. So we don't have cats that are coming in from other areas. These are truly Marysville cats that it's a closed population. So we're able to collect a lot of data. We microchip all the cats, and if we retrap them, you know, if possible, we retrap an ear-tipped cat, we'll scan them so we can track where that cat is, or if they come in, a cat is injured or hurt or is found deceased, we track that data. And we are, you know, able to, we're gathering all that data so we can really analyze it as time goes on. So then we have, let's talk about microchips now. So we really started focusing on microchips back when we did the campfire, and we worked that project in 2018 and 19, and we took in about 700 cats from there, and only about 4% of them, less than 4% were chipped. So we had, you know, how difficult it was to reunite those animals with their owners. And I just basically say, we just need to microchip anywhere, anytime, and any way we can. And it's really, really easy. So we host microchip only events. We don't need a veterinarian there. I carry a microchip, a scanner, and a couple of microchips in my purse. I mean, that's how crazy I am about microchips. We hold fun parties. We have Halloween where everybody dresses up, and I dress up, and a couple other staff dress up as mad doctors. And we might do microchip parties. We have the Microchip Your Cat Week, which Lucas did a couple months ago. And then we give away free microchips certificates at events. And, you know, they're so inexpensive, and people usually donate anyway. So we just give away the free certificates, and you know, the return is, you know, people do come, they do make appointments, but basically wherever you can, whenever you can, microchip. And these are some of the things, like, I mean, literally here's, you know, walking down the street, we're microchipping a cat. Somebody has a cat. Is your cat chipped? No, we scan it. No, it's not. Here's Lucas here during Microchip Your Cat Week. Here we are dressed up as the mad doctors. And here we are, there was a pet parade. So I carried the scanner through the pet parade, and I scanned all the animals. And if they weren't chipped, I handed them a certificate and said, hey, come see us after the parade and we'll chip your cat or dog or chicken. Or, no, I don't do chickens, but so we're really, really trying to, you know, focus on just getting as many microchips out there as possible. And that really is,
Joy, thank you.
My message.
Thank you so much for this. And I think just in closing, what I want to say that excites me about your work so much is that you stick to a mission, you do it really well, and you're doing amazing work in my own backyard. So I'm so grateful for that. Just a quick reminder to everyone, we are really tight on time. So we're hoping that you will all carry on this conversation over to Maddie's Pet Form after. That direct link will get you to the link where all of our speakers will have access to answer any follow-up questions. But now I'm going to toss it over to my dear friend, Josh, to introduce our last speaker of the day.
Hi there, everybody. Appreciate you giving us the time to speak. If anybody who do know me, I work in a few different fields, one of them predominantly the dog training vertical, also animal dental, and then work with a lot of pet influencers. One of the individuals who is an absolute standout star doing incredible work in the dog training vertical is Milena DiMartini. And she specializes in separation anxiety. She's the leading expert in the space. And when we got to talking and I got to see how well she has executed her vision, her protocols, I knew that I had to put her on a stage that she didn't really necessarily knew existed. So I connected with Bobby, but I'm now going to pass you over to Milena DiMartini, leading expert in separation anxiety.
Josh, and thank you, Bobby, and everyone for being here today and for inviting me to have a few moments to talk. I'm sure all of you in shelter rescue realize what a tremendous issue separation anxiety can be, not just for the shelter, the rescue, the foster, but also the adopted family, and of course the individual dog. So I'm going to share my screen really quick, and I will be as expedient as possible going through these slides. You can see in the chat box that the link to this deck has been provided. So while I will be going through it quickly, you will have the opportunity to review it post tense. And
yeah. And Milena, you are our last speaker. So if you want to go until 59, whatever your time is, that's perfect. So you can close us out.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So we're going to be talking a little bit about our Separation Anxiety Ambassador program. One of the things that I am so passionate about is looking at all aspects of separation anxiety, from intake to adoption, including foster care and all the steps in between, and the transparency that is involved in the adoption process. But this in particular is mostly about the support that can be provided for understanding, comprehension, and empathy for separation anxiety dogs, so that we can implement training to alleviate the problem. Okay, I won't go through this, just, quickly about me. I've been working with separation anxiety for the past 2 decades and then some. I'm the author of 2 books on the topic. I'm a world-renowned speaker, and I have also trained 130 other dog trainers and professionals, including vets and cabs, et cetera, to work with separation anxiety. And we continue to train 40 additional professionals every year to exclusively work with this issue. One of the things that's so important that everybody may not realize is that even pre-pandemic, separation anxiety has always been something that we work with remotely. And it's a very unique behavior in the sense that our presence changes the dynamic of what's happening with the dog. And so it's actually preferred to train the pet parent via Zoom, and we can observe the dog when left alone in that manner. So speaking of the pandemic, right? I mean, it was horrific in so many ways, but weren't we all very lucky to see that we saw adoptions and foster care networks really skyrocket, and then these pets were able to have, their parents home with them for over a year, and of course the pets provided some incredible emotional support to so many owners and guardians. So it was a really incredible year in a lot of ways. But things are going to change as people start to return to work and other life activities, right? And we're going to start to have to see dogs being left home alone. Separation anxiety is the #1 behavior problem in the world right now. It affects over 44 million dogs in the United States alone. And I mean, that is a tremendous welfare problem. And what I have been doing for the past 20 years, and most specifically in the past couple, is really trying to target the shelter and rescue system so that we can get proper education out there about this issue, and so that we have a way to mitigate this problem, both within the shelter rescue environment as well as post-adoption. So separation anxiety, yep, it's a phobia. It is a genuine fear of being left alone. And, it may, as is appropriate for any phobia, it may sound extraordinarily irrational to us, but it is very, very real to the dog, okay? It's important that we remember that. Typical signs of separation anxiety are destructive behavior, vocalization, everything from whining all the way through howling and excessive barking, drooling, standing or pacing in distress, and even having elimination potty accidents in the home when alone. And so while it's an incredibly huge welfare issue for the dogs, there's a big component that is important that the pet parent understands, because it can be a welfare issue for them too. It can be very distressing on both ends. Want to just pause here, and then I'll kind of run through the last few slides more quickly. So within shelter rescue, we see that it's estimated about 30% of the behavior problems given as a reason for relinquishment are related to separation anxiety. I was actually surprised at this number, and I think it's important to recognize that. As mentioned in one of the previous slides, it's one of the most common behavior problems. 40% of dogs referred to animal behavior practices are diagnosed with this issue. Only 13% of owners whose dogs demonstrated separation-related behavior sought professional help. And that's where I think the shelter and rescue environment is so important, so that we can get that appropriate help out to these adoptive families, because if it's treated correctly, separation anxiety is really fixable. The prognosis for a dog with separation anxiety is excellent. So as mentioned, we've got 130 certified separation anxiety trainers out there. They go through a very rigorous certification program, but the demand for trainers who specialize in this way outweighs the supply of the trainers that are all over the world. So what we have created and have been running for the last couple of years is an online self-paced course that is not only utilized by pet parents to help them walk through how to train their separation anxiety dog, but about 50% of the students in that course are also pet professionals, so that they can learn how to support these pet guardians. It's an incredibly powerful and comprehensive program. There's a 31 module process that people can go through quickly or slowly. They have lifetime access, and they get their questions and comments answered every single day by me or one of my certified separation anxiety trainers. So it's a very interactive course. There's a lot of verbiage on here. This is just a little bit of an overview. And just as a reminder, this is a do-it-yourself protocol, but there is also a lot of support. And what we're sort of proposing here is that, this would be such a great tool for shelters and rescues to be able to utilize. The course is offered as the lifetime access at $199, but we're doing a collaboration with shelters and rescues where we will create a discount code that will give it $100 off. So it'll be a $99 course for the shelter and rescue, whether that's individuals that want to learn more about separation anxiety or whether it's for pet parents. And there is an opportunity in using that code to earn $20 per purchase. So we want to give back revenue opportunities specific to each rescue to help, raise funds for all of the animals in your care. So really, my mission is to help pet parents everywhere that have separation anxiety dogs, but also to support the shelters and rescues. And we're working on a best practices guide for shelters and rescues with separation anxiety dogs in their care. So you can look through this. We would love to see people become ambassadors. As mentioned, special discounts for shelters and adopters and rescues that has an earn back potential. And our hope is to save more dogs. So I think we only have like a minute or so. If there's any questions, I wasn't able to see the chat box while I was in share mode. So let me jump back over and see if I missed anything in the chat box.
I think much of it was asking for your contact information. I believe Allison was able to share that. And wow, you really crushed that. Great timing.
I do this a lot, and I'm like, I gotta get it done.
When you said, world renowned, you weren't kidding. So we do have a minute for a quick question before we move on, but just also a quick reminder, we are not going to have a meeting next Monday, July 5th. So y'all, hopefully you can enjoy the long holiday. And remember to move the conversation over to Maddie's forum, which Allison will drop the link again into the chat. So any questions before we close out?
Oh, I want to give a nod really quick. I see Sheila Segerson just made a note in the chat. Yeah, we've been working with a dog named KT, King Triton, with Austin Pets Alive, and it's been a long journey. But boy, has he, have things really come forward. And it's an important aspect of working with dogs in the rescue environment, is helping them to transition. So thanks for that comment. And thank you all for having me here.
Thank you, Melina. Yeah, when I originally got the information, Dr. Segerson is my go-to for behavior, and she just said that she loves the work that you're doing, and we're so grateful that you're here in this space with us. So to close us out, happy Monday, everyone. I'm going to toss it over to Mary Smith.
All right, you guys, we got a lot of happiness today. I want to thank Lucas and his mom, Sarah and Joy. That was really awesome to hear about that. Elena and Shelter Love. I also want to tell you guys that Shelter Love, just a reminder, is free for the rest of 2021. So if you don't have any kind of software program, you can get one. And also, I want to thank Malena and Josh. That was just great. I have a dog that has separation anxiety. Oh, I have a husband actually that has separation anxiety. So either way, I'm going to use something on somebody, and I'm sure it's going to work. So, hey, you guys, have a great week. We won't see you Monday. Use the time to do something good for yourself. Remember, you can always choose to be happy. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.